My Anthropic Bill hit $400 last month. $400. One company, one line item. Summaries, tagging, first draft copy, internal Qwen. The boring work that used to be a junior's day job. And last week, the Qwen team at Alibaba shipped the model that makes killing that bill an actual weekend project instead of an ML consultant's retainer. Not a benchmark tweet, not a paper, an actual model you can download and run tonight. I'm Stewart, I run Serply, I sign the invoices, so when a Chinese lab drops a set of open weights that hit hosted tier quality and clock 4,000 downloads before the pricing pages update, I pay attention. Here is what happened, what it cost you to move, and the window you have before your competitor spots the same trick. Qwen 3.8 dropped on August 12th. 2 models landed at once. A flagship Qwen 3.82 4TA95B, 2.4 trillion parameters in a mixture of experts layout, so only 95 billion of them fire on any single word. And an agent-tuned sibling, Qwen-AgentWorld 35B-A3B, 35 billion parameters total, 3 billion active. The flagship is a data center animal. The agent model runs on a graphics card you can walk into Best Buy and buy on a credit card. 2 years ago, the same quality lived on servers that cost more than most people's houses. Today, it fits under a desk. Both are open weights. Alibaba published them for download. No license fees, no per token meter. Ollama is already listed as a member of the Qwen team on Hugging Face, which is the polite way of saying the one command install works on release day. Here is the answer the title promised. For roughly 30% of what you pay OpenAI or Anthropic to do, you can move it to a single GPU under your desk this week, and the quality gap will be invisible. Summaries, tagging, first draft copy, internal Qwen, extraction, anything shaped like paperwork. The hard tasks stay hosted, the boring ones move tonight. Now the number. Together AI is serving Qwen 3.82. 4TA95B right now at $6.25 per million output tokens. Hosted price on an open weight model from a US-based provider. Claude Sonnet's equivalent bracket runs at $15 per million. So even if you never buy a GPU and just switch the boring 30% to hosted Qwen, you cut those specific tokens by 58% without touching a single file on your machine. One routing change in your code, not a rebuild. Now think about what a competitor does with this in the next 4 weeks. Say you run a marketing agency. Your writers use Claude for outline drafts. Your bookkeeper pipes vendor emails through GPT to categorize them. Your support tool has a first response summarizer running on Sonnet. Your reporting pipeline runs weekly client digests through the same API. Every one of those tasks is a candidate for a Qwen router. Everyone. And the agency across town that ships the change on Monday morning is running the same client work at a lower cost of goods sold, forever. The retainer on the client's desk stays the same, the margin under it doubles. Call it a competitive moat you build in a week and defend for years, because the first team to route saves money on every prompt forever and pays the switching cost once. Stay with me, because the compliance angle in a minute is the one enterprise sales teams have been quietly waiting for. And the trap in the back half is the one every DIY installer walks into on day one. If you have ever lost a deal on a security questionnaire, the middle section is for you. If you have ever downloaded a local model and given up after one bad output, the trap section is for you. The local math is uglier and better. A single RTX 4090 is around $2,000 new. Refurbished units go for less. It draws about 450 watts flat out on UK power that is roughly 15 cents an hour of full tilt inference. On US power it is closer to 7. At my $400 monthly baseline, the card pays itself back in about 5 months, and then produces tokens for the price of your electricity bill for the rest of its useful life. My accountant likes that math a lot more than she likes a variable OPEX line that scales with headcount. I want you to check this yourself. Open the Qwen page on Hugging Face right now. Look at the download counter on Qwen 3.82, 4TA95BFP8, 4,000 downloads in the first week. Numbers moving in real time are operators moving, not commentators talking, not benchmarks, not a keynote. Real installs this week. That is the proof, not me telling you. Speed matters too, and it is where most owners leave money on the table without realizing there was a table. Together, AI serves Qwen 3.8 at 146 tokens per second. Fireworks AI serves the exact same weights at 83, almost double, same model, same prompt, different roof. Even the choice of hosted provider is a lever most owners never pull. Fewer than 1 in 10 operators has ever priced 2 providers on the same model. Most picked the first search result and stayed there. 5 minutes this week, 3 providers, 1 spreadsheet, permanent margin, and speed is a tax owners pay by default. A prompt that takes 4 seconds instead of 8 in a customer-facing tool is the difference between a chat that feels alive and a chat that feels dead. Users do not tell you they left. Your dashboard just shows lower engagement. Compliance is the piece nobody has priced into their P&L yet. If your business touches medical records, legal documents, or financial data, every hosted API call is a third party in your data flow diagram. Every one is a sub-processor your DPA has to name and your client can veto. A local Qwen instance processing the same content removes the third party entirely. Your data lives on your box, your logs stay on your box, your compliance team gets a shorter diagram, and you get to say no when a prospect asks whether their contracts get shipped off to a US hosted model. Answering no to that question used to cost you 6 figures of on-prem infrastructure and a full-time engineer. It now costs 1 GPU and a Saturday. Every enterprise sales cycle you have been losing on the security questionnaire just got a different answer. Here is the trap. 4-bit quantization is the trick that makes 35 billion parameters fit inside a consumer graphics card. On paperwork tasks it is invisible. On code and math it is not. Do not run your production code reviews through a 4-bit local model and then tell me the local revolution is broken. It is not the model, it is the compression. Summarization goes local, reasoning stays hosted. The mistake I see monthly in my inbox. An owner runs a hard task through a small local model, watches it fumble, and concludes local is toy tier. Local is not toy tier. The wrong task on any model looks like a toy. Learn the split or hire someone who has and put them on it for 2 afternoons and write down which prompts moved and which did not. The rollout is deliberately boring. Pick 1 task, just 1, the cheapest, most repetitive prompt in your stack. Install Ollama on the box you already own, pull the Qwen-Agent model 1 command, point that 1 internal tool at the local endpoint, measure the outputs against your current hosted responses for a week, side by side in a spreadsheet. If the answers match, keep going. If they do not, keep that task hosted and try the next one. Real example. My internal summarize this Slack thread into 3 bullet points tool used to burn maybe $12 a day on Sonnet. 2 hours of work to route it to local, $0 a day since. $12 times 30 days is $360 recovered on 1 prompt, on 1 tool, in 1 afternoon of migration. Multiply that across your stack. Before we wrap, the Church of SEO Jesus is my free school community. It is where I put the exact GPU I bought, the Ollama config file, and the prompt router I use to split tasks between local and hosted. All of it free, no card required, link in the description. If your API bill has been climbing every month and you know it, come get the build sheet. Remember the $400 I opened with? Half of that goes on paperwork my machine could do in its sleep. Half. Every month you stay on the meter is another month you rent a factory you could own. Your competitor is on this same page right now, doing the same math, and one of you moves first. The other one explains to a client next year why margins compressed. One thing about the flagship, the 2.4 trillion parameter animal, you are not running that on your desk, nobody is. But it is on together at $6.25 per million tokens, and the whole point of an open weight is that anyone with data center hardware can serve it. Hosted prices for that quality tier are already collapsing. The floor moves down every quarter. Alibaba shipped this month. Mistral drops 1 next month. Meta drops 1 the month after. The delta between what you paid OpenAI last year and what you will pay for equivalent work next year is yours to keep, only if you build the router to catch it. Next video I walk through the exact prompt router I use to split traffic between local and hosted. and I put the invoices side by side, the month before I built it and the month after. The number surprised me. Even I did not know how many of my prompts had drifted to the expensive tier by default. The end screen has it now. Watch it before you close this tab.